We're common loaded for bear. Yeah, that's not gonna keep me out of anything. All right, I wanted to take a minute, do a little plug for my #1 sponsor, my only sponsor, Masters of Business. If you're in Oregon and you need bookkeeping, accounting, or taxes done, go see my people, man, the mob. Masters of Business in Oregon, they're going to set you up. I'm a firm believer in keeping what you make, and hopefully you guys are too, but they can help get that done. Go see them. Tell them the Blue Collar Bullet sent you. Thanks. All right, I'm trying something new. My phone is on the stand. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I have to charge it because it's at the end of the day. And yesterday I didn't get to do any filming because my phone was almost dead. So trying something new, charging it after work, coming out here. I don't have kids. They're at my folks's. So I worked on putting an X in the middle. I'm going to TIG weld. I got to TIG weld that in. But yesterday I had to run to the welding shop. I had to get some new welding gloves. I was holding out for that Miller sponsor, but they must not have seen my videos. So I had to go buy some gloves. Gonna throw those on, and yeah, bought some argon, bought some new gloves. Gonna just get out here and just weld my life away again. Went through a whole tank. I don't know that that's that much welding as much as it was trying to do yoga and kept hitting the button and activating the old argon. But plan, I don't know how many more bars I'm gonna add. I gotta cut the 2 out still. So this will be our 3rd video coming up on this. I got to cut those 2 bars out. I got to X the middle, and I got to finish welding some of this stuff, and then I got to bring some lateral supports from the bottom #1 bar up to one of those bars I added. We'll just see. Triangles are the strongest shape, so that's what we're doing. Triangles, making triangles. We'll see where I land after that. We still got to do the double frame rail. We're going to have the training in to do that, and then I'm going to have to pull the motor. I need to do some work to the front clip, and then we'll finish back out here with doing the filler strips and doing the carbon interior. Hopefully I don't mess any of that up because yeah, we don't have money to buy more of it. So let's go. I'm gonna fire up the radio. You guys know what that means. You guys are going into hyperlapse. Have fun. All right, where are you? Where am I? Where are we? In where wheel tub goes. What do you think? Dude, right? Super strong. So, gonna run a bar right here. And a bar right there. Gotta weld that. Gotta weld that. Yikes, we got in there. And we're gonna come around and we're gonna weld. Eventually, we're gonna weld in here. And then I'm probably gonna chuck a bead right there. And right there. But we've got, I can't really zoom out. I was thinking about running an X up here. I see a lot of the fast cars, Reese Brothers, CJ Race cars. They got double X's. Larry Jeffers. Everyone that bad, man. And maybe we need another X or some type of support going up here. But man, this thing looks like it's going to be dope. So I don't know. I don't know about all that. Yes, sir. It's going to be nice when I scuff up all that on fire paint too. Anyway, back to it. All right, I'm going to try to narrow my wishbone. I need to narrow it 1 inch. Let me show you. So here's my old wishbone jig right here. I'm going to set these bolts up 1 inch over, weld them to the table, grind these ones off. And then my plan is to just nip this and maybe nip the inside of the tube and just bring it in just a little bit. I don't want to remake this, so that's what I'm going to try first. If not, I got to cut it all apart. Big deal. Okay, see ya. Alright, so here I am. I'm welding my new bolts to the table. And shortly I'm going to try to cut this wishbone apart. That's what I'm doing right now. And it doesn't work very well. I ended up ruining it. So I have to take it completely apart, cut it down, grind the tube, and get the thing back. Luckily, I have some parts to help me out, but I messed around with it quite a little bit, and it was all for naught. So, had to get some spacers. It took a little bit to get this thing. It takes a little bit to get this thing like balanced, because the tube, the slider, is way different than the outside tube. So I actually have some pieces from a push bar, and I ended up making it. Saturday morning, we're out here race carring. We were out here till 9 o'clock last night, and yeah, came out about 8 this morning to get started on this wishbone. So I had to cut the whole thing apart. I reused the X. I'm trying to reuse this center support. I probably could just notch another piece, but whatever. Reused my slide tube. So this was an old push bar that I had. So I had a little confidence in getting wild here, and it took about an hour to fit these. And the fitment's not great. It is what it is. Long term, it would be nice to maybe try a different style of locator. But anyway, I need to stack. I got some, I guess they're tire shake bars is what they're called. That need to go in, and I need to put the wishbone mounts in. So I'm gonna put you guys on super speedo mode and weld this unit up. we are 2 hours in, which is decent, I feel like, for having to clean this up and strip tube off and cut all this crap to fit. This would be easier to just make a new one if I had the money to buy a new one, a new kit. But yeah, anyway, we're not going to brag on any of this. It's a little rough. All right, but let's cruise over here. We got everything welded out. We got 2 bars ready to go in. We got X, baby. You can like zoom out. And see, it's a little tight in here because it's a 16-inch center 4-link. So I was like playing with the bars last night. Damn it, where is it? I was playing with the bars last night, and this thing got to go in here. And I was kind of sticking my bar up this way, but then I was like, man, I really kind of want to get this as wide as I can and still get nuts on here and a wrench in here, and you know, the rod end's pretty wide. And anyway, so I'm going to stick these on first, and then these down tubes will hopefully hit somewhere in this neighborhood. But if I gotta notch them to fit around this bracket, that's what we're gonna do. But I'm gonna shoot for landing it right here. Just get right in there. But I gotta get the wishbone on because that's all tight. That's all welded. 4-link brackets are welded at least as much on this side as I can. I'd like to copy an angled tube on this side and maybe run a couple of gussets in there on the 4-link brackets, but we'll see. Here's a little better video of that X. Huh? Is that what you guys were envisioning? Pretty sweet. So we're getting real close to being done back here. X here. I'm still on the fence, man. I don't know if I want to run a bar up to the main hoop, but this is the time to do it. So I think I'm going to get my down tubes in and then decide on if I want to get in there, or I don't know, because once I get this X and stuff in here, coming back later to put bars in there is another thing. But when you look at all the top builders, they run bars there, so we'll see. All right, got my wishbone mounts on right there. I was gonna film that, but I got the wishbone all tacked up and it just looked easier to get under here. And I got it in a really good spot. And I threw the laser on it, and then I was like, well, no time to set up the camera. Here we go. Anyway, sorry. We got these. Originally, these weren't going to come at an angle, but like I said, space limited. I'm thinking I might try to do a gusset here, and then maybe bring one from the frame into here. And then I'm still debating on bringing that up to the hoop. I posted on Facebook to see what other people thought in some chassis groups, but anyway. And then X this, and then oh yeah, last but not least, these bars will be the last thing that I do probably. So I'm gonna get cracking on this, maybe slap my X in here, we'll see. Do my gussets, maybe gusset my 4-link brackets, just get crazy. I want that as strong as possible. All right. Been grinding. My phone died, had to charge it. I made a post in a chassis group hoping to get an opinion about running some extra bars before I get all this in here. And man, I don't know. The internet's undefeated. I'll tell you what. All right, here we go. Check this out. Got to do a little more welding on my X. Here we go. This is what I've ground out and fitted. I need to bring it up just a little bit more. So that's what you got to do. Just keep grinding, whittling away. My last, by the way, these bars, they were non-existent. They didn't even go back here. They were non-existent. And I'm thinking I might still run a support so these things don't flex. But we'll see. Dude, almost done. Almost done back here. It's exciting. Yeah, I gotta touch up some spots in that pipe. Yeah, and then look at this and cope this in a little better. I think it just needs to come up just a little bit. So anyway. All right, so you see me coping in this upper bar on the passenger side. That is time consuming. Don't let anyone fool you. You got multiple angles you're dealing with. But you got to kind of slowly work into it if you want to get it coped in nice. Anyway, I'm filling some porosity and some welds. There's also some grinder marks from somebody with a grinder. Yeah, touching up some of the bottom welds down low. And I am working on fitting the driver's side up right there. Give you a little camera angle change. Trying to do something different than just keep playing the same music for you guys. I know you love that. That's all that I have. Yeah. This is just time consuming. There's nothing you can do about it. There I am, just welding away. Productive day. Think I was out here for 11 hours. It sure takes a long time when you don't coat pipe all the time to do that. So I think I need to weld out a couple things and we're done back here. That bar and that bar. That bar just has a little bit of welding left. That bar has the whole joints. And then I really need to pick up in here because this is getting ridiculous. Ridiculous. All right. Whoops. I'm supposed to be sharing with you guys. That's my scheme and my dream. And that might be overkill, but I think it'll stop those from flexing, and then I want to do a couple of 7/8 supports in here. So that's a couple hours worth of work, but I think that'll take us to where we need to be. So got to be careful not to get this too far underneath. Make me look like I got a double chin worse than I do. So I'm working on one, but it ain't here yet. All right. Well, Baby Yoda's been out here with me. Christmas Baby Yoda. He's drying. He's almost dry. Tomorrow, Baby Yoda. Alright, Sunday morning. It's cold out here. Fired up the heater. I'm going to pick up a little bit. I'm a little too OCD to deal with all the mess out here. It's gotten a little out of hand. So that's what happens when you start thrashing. But enough's enough. I couldn't find a permanent marker yesterday, and oh look, there's two of them right here, way outside my working zone here. Anyway, when it gets like that, I'm just stepping over stuff. Time to do a little housekeeping. But the welding's close, and I've been debating all night on whether or not I want to try to stick the rear end in here and kind of get the car back on the ground, because I do need to pull the motor, and I also need to put the tranny in to work on the double frame rail. And I've just kind of been going back and forth, but I also need to start working on where I'm going to fit carbon. So I'm excited. Just need to do a little more welding and add a couple little gussets. So they'll probably take way too long. But anyway. And then I also need to paint stuff. But I got stuff out here from Christmas. And yeah, I need to do something with my mess. Jumped right into it without an intro after my cleanup. Here we go, just fitting more supports, fitting those supports, and I also worked on cutting the 4-link supports, which I'll cover here in a little bit, but I did not put those in yet. The car is just too hard to get in there. Those little supports for the tire shake bars took a really long time. And then I'm just vacuuming up some area. There was grinder shavings. I mean, I can't lay on the ground without just getting covered in horrible grinder shavings. All right, it is not quite noon on Sunday, and I am out of argon. I got argon on Thursday, so been doing some welding. The last couple bars were a little rough. I got these supports in. I have 4 supports for the 4-link made. Let me show you guys. So I have these little guys, 4 of them, and they are gonna do something like that. But I feel like with the jack under here, this is going to get a little rough, and I just can't get around very well. Like these were really tough because I can't get in here because of this jack. It takes up so much space. So everything that's in the car is welded. I could put the rear end in, I could put my shocks on. I could put the rear end in and lift it up by the rear end and give myself the space I need. So I might do that. I've been trying to fix this, but I'm telling you, this thing has cut my back. And down here, I just started kind of trying to weld some of that, but this thing, that corner, this thing all busted apart when I shook some tire, had some tire shake. And this thing just sliced up my back, climbing in and out of here 900 times. But I'm not complaining. Because life's good, man. Anyway. Let's see. What else? I don't know. Maybe maybe I'll cut this cardboard template out. That's a good idea. It's not cardboard. Plywood. Man, not enough oxygen. This is what happens when you don't make lists. I didn't have much of a game plan going in this weekend because I figured I'd have plenty of gas and just be welding my life away. But anyway, here we are. All right, I'm going to give you guys the raw and uncut. How does this thing fit in here? Look. Huh. Well, that's going to really have to come out of there. I don't know, you guys probably can't see, but all this needs to get cut out. Big time. Big time. Over here, there's a gap big enough to slide this up, I think. Bend this aluminum. Really bend it. Oh. Dude, that's so awesome. But one thing we don't really know is where the fake center of tire is. All right. So we are 100%. So, whoops. So we're 100% gonna have to rip this thing, and I probably need to support the body back here before I do that because I don't see any supports. But there's a lot of metal that can come out of here. There's a bunch of stuff for the trunk hinges. I don't know where the center of the tire is, but I don't know how crazy we'll have to get cutting that. But I definitely think it could come back 2 inches. And this will go all the way to the four-leg bars, potentially. So, kind of cool. We'll see. All right, wrestling this thing up here is a task. I use these ratchet straps because I don't want to scratch the crap out of the bottom of the housing. Then I just slide a jack under there and kind of take the slack up. Getting the anti-roll bar actually was a little tricky. I welded a couple corners of my brackets after I had taken the anti-roll bar out. And one side I just had to touch with the file and kind of wrestle with a little bit. So shocks are going on. Got the 4-link. I used the same heims for the front 4-link, even though they're the big 5/8 bolts. I bought some reducers from All Star out of Summit there, and they make some adapters that go inside the heim that use a smaller bolt. So I use those for now. Those heims have been fast, so we're going to keep using them. Then I fought the slider. There's a billet mount on the bottom of the strange housing that takes the slider, but they doesn't have a heim that'll fit it, so I had to take it apart. All right, ran my phone into the ground dead just for you, and I waited to charge it to show you this. I didn't want to do this without you. We've been doing this together. I've been by myself, but you're watching. Boom. I was gonna lower this, but I didn't want to do that without you. Now you'll notice the tire looks like it's going back that way a little too far. It is about 1 inch south, backwards. And My brackets have 2 sets of holes, and they're at an inch space, I believe. So at least that's what I kind of measured with my tape measure. I was running around taking some measurements. And my shocks are pitched, and my anti-roll bar at about 4 degrees. So that'll all make sense as my anti-roll bar links and my shocks aren't straight up and down. It's all sitting a little too far forward. But everything's in. One thing that's a little bit of a bummer on the sweet Promod rear end is there's nowhere for my Pro Jacks. In my old rear end, I had brackets. I had bitchin' brackets that had them built into them. But lots of tire room. This thing is also sitting just a touch less than 2 inches up higher at full droop. And so it's going to go down about 2 inches. Also, you should know that the front is sitting a little higher than it should because of some racing I did right at the end of the season. So, thing been sitting a little bit. Don't mind the heavy breathing. It's just the Nova. It's just the Nova. I'm excited. These things probably got a little bit of grit in them. So we just don't want anything catching on anything here. Need a little lubrication. Come on, man. We're all waiting. Come on, race jacks. With my electric pump. Hate those air pumps. Oh, man. We are at full weight. Oh, dude. That thing's sitting right. Drop the front end like an inch. Oh, that thing is looking good. I'm a big, if you know my dart, man, my dart sat good. The back needs to come down just a little bit more on this thing. I love low cars. Yeah, perfect. Now let's go see where he was. So this goes to show you there ain't no room. Oh yeah, we can come way down. And anti-roll had plenty. It won't over center at full droop. This thing's perfect. Come down just a little bit more. What we'll probably have to do is get I actually want some more shaft showing. So what we might need to do is get a smaller spring. I think I have a bunch of springs, but we're not doing that right now. That'll be for scale day. Look at that, man. Could run all the tire that we want in the whole world. Dude. I think we could fit a 36 in here pretty easily. It's what I wanted. Yay! I love it when a plan comes together. Really excited. I'm going to close this video up. This thing is going to need pushed back so I can do some brakes on my truck. By the way, West Coast, if you're on the West Coast, AutoZone, or Jesus. If you're on the West Coast, Advanced Auto Parts is going out of business. 90% off. ArcWest, brake pads, $8 to $10, man. Calipers for a Chevy truck, like a 2016 2500 Chev. Dude, $10, but I got a core. And back rotor's $35. Spark plugs for a Hemi for a Challenger, dude. 16 iridiums, 58 bucks. Anyway, getting off track. Whoo, she gonna be pretty. I'm gonna get this painted up too, man. Gonna be low. I also got another little secret coming for this thing. Gonna just take me to that next level, man. It's awesome. See you guys. All right, smash that like button and subscribe.